Vipin sir, you there?
Yeah, so let's start now. So, good morning, all of you. Uh, Welcome to another session of uh, 1 week FTP on cybersecurity. And let me share my screen. So, let me know, Sahil sir, can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. So let's start. So the topic we start with this cybersecurity. So today we talk about how you can make yourself more reliable in terms of cybersecurity. And I named this presentation as "Do-It-Yourself Cybersecurity." So I will tell a lot of attacks, common attacks possible during day-to-day basis. And the first one I will discuss today is cryptojacking. So cryptojacking is nowadays cyber criminals are quickly shifting their focus from ransomware. I hope you guys know about ransomware because from last 7 days we're talking about cybersecurities. If not, I will cover this in my next slides as well. To cryptojacking, because in cryptojacking there is a lower risk and higher potential for financial gain. So what is cryptojacking is? Cryptojacking is a malicious crypto mining that happens when cyber criminals hack into both business and personal computers. It can be a laptop, it can be a mobile device, and they install some malwares or ransomware. So how it works is like with few line of codes, hackers can hijack the resources of any computer. This computer can be a laptop, a mobile device, and can be a server as well. So what happened due to this is it slower the computer response time in terms of CPU, and it can also lead to higher electricity bills. So if I show you how it cryptojacking works, you can see in this picture here that end user is like a normal user. So when this normal and at the right you can see a threat actor means it's attacker. So attacker installs some script over the server, and in that case, when an end user requests some website, for example, a common website, so this website is now compromised website with crypto mining script embedded. So what happened is this: when you open some website, in that case, you will see that your computer, your laptop get really slow. So these things happens on day-to-day basis. This might be the attack that you can feel out like, okay, my computer is getting slow day by day. Maybe this is the one of the reasons that you will see that in the cryptojacking parts. So how it works is like you can see that threat actor compromises a website. This can be a normal website, any website. Users connect to the compromised websites and the crypto mining script executes, right? When it happens, then what it leads to, it leads to a slower response on your computer itself. So before that cryptojacking, you understand what happens. You have to understand some concepts like cryptocurrencies, for example, Bitcoin or Ethereum or Monero. And crypto mining is the process in which these cryptocurrencies getting mined. And and nowadays, what cryptojackers or cryptojacking is all about is they are using their a victim resource to mine these kind of cryptocurrencies. So this is a one of the attacks nowadays. We will talk about all these attacks in our later slides as well. But initially, I want to show that little bit introductions about crypto checking and other attacks. Another thing is important thing is ad blocking. So in ad blocking is for example, if you see here, if you have a Chrome browser with uh, some uh, some ad blockers, it can be ABP, UBO, and if you compare this with the I want to add this, like how you can utilize your memory, for example, so that you can use your computer efficiently as well. So if you compare these four graphs, you can see that Brave uses less memory compared to this. So what is Brave and what is ad blocking is? So I want to tell you this, that ad blocking is really nowadays a big attacks happening on your computer, on normal laptop or mobiles. So Brave is a new browser. It can be a Mozilla, it can be a Safari, it can be Chrome, and this is another browser. But the purpose is to reward the user in terms of something, let's say basic attention token, which is also called that. But that's a different scenario. So, what is the advantage of using Brave is it provides more privacy options. It's faster, and as we already saw that it also utilizes the memory very efficiently. So we have to choose our browsers. We have to choose our applications very in a very secure way, so that we can save our resources, especially computing resources. It can be CPU cycles, it can be memory in terms of RAM, right? So if you see browsers, that can be Chrome in incognito mode, or if you compare this with the Brave browsers with the private tabs, we will talk about privacy as well. So we will talk about threats, we will talk about privacy, we will talk about how you can use your computer more efficiently. And of course, you can use Brave browser private tabs with Tor. I hope you know about Tor. I think in first session, we already covered what is Tor to provide more security to your systems. So this is like a summary. I'm trying to build some summary around you so that you can understand the attacks. And now I want to talk about privacy. Now, if you see 10 years ago, your personal data on the black market was worth $150. But let's say today it's even less than $1 sometimes. So we have to see why it is decreasing and why privacy is why this data is getting less costly day by day. So the fact is that you have no privacy. That's fine, but you have to understand few things. For example, people say I have nothing to hide, right? The intelligence agencies have anyhow all my data, right? But this is like a huge security problems as well. For example, millions of hacked passwords, stolen identities. So nowadays people don't care much about privacy, but this is also a really important fact that we have to understand that privacy is really important. That's why in European Union they have GDPR, and now we have also some privacy laws. Now, difficult to figure out like what kind of attack it is, credit card fraud, or it can be spam marketing, a lot of things, right? But last but not least, we have to see that data are the new money. So they need to be protected. That's what we have to understand first, right? So our mindset towards it is very clear that this is my data, this is money, this is me, and I have to protect myself. Let me give you a simple example, like how these things work. For example, this is Alice, and let's suppose you are going for some OTT, for example, moving streaming service. Then they are asking like you need subscription be older than 12. That's fine. So, but this is a privacy and security problem. How, let's suppose you shared your credit card or debit card details with this and you also share your profile. For example, Alice born on so and so date with this address, married, expires on this date, and everything is shared to this movie streaming service. So you have what kind of attack or theft possible in this cases is like identity theft. They have your whole knowledge, like you are this guy. Discrimination, they can do that. Profiling, possibly in connection with other services as well. They can map it to the other service provider that, okay, this kind of user is buying these kind of services, so pitch them some other kind of products as well. But what is the issue when you say that, let's suppose some website is saying, okay, log in with Facebook, log in with Google or something, then what is the issue is that in that case, companies like Facebook or Google know, okay, what kind of movies you are watching. For example, in this case, let's suppose it's Facebook or Google or whatever. So in that case, they know that Alice is watching 12 plus movie, right? So this is what they can also characterize you as a product in the future, and then again leads to a privacy issues as well. So if you understand this user keys, when we talk about securities, you have public private keys. Public key is like your Gmail address, like which you can share to anyone. Password is like your password, which we call as a private key or secret key. Now, what happened when you see this as a so generally what nowadays people are doing is they have a certified authority through which you can do all these activities. Like you can share things with one provider and then they will not share anything with other one. For example, in this case, I wish to see Alice in Wonderland, but you need a subscription, be older than 12, that's fine. So if you see providing identity means who you are, right? For example, if you are going somewhere and they are asking you should be, let's suppose 18 plus, in that case, you are providing your valid government ID. It can be a Aadhaar card, it can be your voter ID or anything. In that case, you are sharing everything. For example, your address, your name, your father name, your lot of things. But they just want to know that are you 18 plus or not. So in such cases, you need to be very much informative in terms of learning that how to protect your privacy, right? In this case, they will verify, let's suppose, some certified authority through which they can do. And the result looks like this. For example, in this case, uh, if your OTT provider say, if you are able to prove yourself that are you age of 12 plus, that's it, right? So you are hiding all the information, right? So that is really important. This can be done with a lot of method. This is one of the things like how you can do this. This is, let's suppose this is identity mixer. But we here the objective to tell this story is to understand that how this anonymous things work, right? Anonymous credentials, how to show credentials without compromising privacy. So I'm sharing everything, but I don't want to lose my privacy, right? This term we call as an anonymity is privacy is the individual's right to keep their data to themselves and not to have their actions recorded or monitored. So because of that monitoring things, it can be lead to some leak of your data or something. Parallelly, we have to discuss about confidentiality as well. So there are two terms in security: anonymity and confidentiality. So confidentiality is about controlling who access to this sensitive information, right? So in anonymity, hiding the public addresses of the parties involved in a transaction, and this is like hiding the amount of transfer, right? This provides me two things: anonymity and confidentiality. So this is an example of like some payments or something, right? In this whole scenario, we have to build trust as well, right? So what is a trust? Is like trust of a party A to party B for a given task S is the miserable belief of A in that B accomplishes as dependently for a specific period. This is a very complicated definition, but this is why we need this is we need at the bottom you can see that we need availability, reliability, safety, confidentiality, integrity, and serviceability. So this is we need a trust in this whole mechanism. For example, if I'm paying, let's say, $100 to B, in that case, we are trusting our banks, right? Same way we have a concept of trust nowadays in the decentralized phase, for example, in blockchain. So this is an example like how what happened to the blockchain, but I'm not going into this, but I want to show that how nowadays we are talking about security, privacy, confidentiality, and other things. So another attack I want to tell here is juice checking. Is a type of cyber attack in which a charging port that doubles as a that doubles as a data connection, typically over USB. So, for example, if I'm using a public USB charger, it might be leads to a attack over your device. It can be on smartphone, it can be a computer device. So how it works is like, let's suppose you are charging something and if some hacker is there or someone who wants to install some malware or ransomware on your device, it can be done very easily. So you should be aware of these things, that where and why I am using some services and how my data can be stolen, right? This is a very famous picture. Not that guy. Important is that laptop. If you can see that, if you can see on this laptop, you have a white sticker over the camera and black tape over the audio device, right? So what this is a very important important picture, because how Mark Zuckerberg he's saving his confidentiality and anonymity to the internet, right? So that's very important. We call this term is cam facting. In cam facting, your camera can be hacked very easily. So once your camera get hacked, so it can record anything. What are you doing in front of this camera, right? So how you can identify these things is like if your LED is blinking, or when you launch your webcam, then some error can come up, and you can go to your task manager to see if the webcam is running or not. Notice the activity of the webcam, how it's going on, and please protect yourself before this cam facting. So because this is really nowadays, it's very common nowadays that people are getting hacked with these type of attacks. Like if an attacker installs some malware or some ransomware on your device, in that case, these kind of things can be hacked very easily. So one of the example of phishing is like, as you can see, this looks like very authenticated things. For example, this is a marketing, and they want to get some information. Could you click on this link? And when you click on this link, it leads to somewhere else, right? So be aware of these kind of attacks like phishing. These are normal attacks like phishing, crypto checking, and other things. So if you see this whole picture, there are few attacks which very easily detectable, not easily, but at least you should know that what kind of attack possible on your laptop, on your premises, right? It can be malware, right? Is any piece of software that was written with the intent of doing harm to data, device, or the people. Ransomware, generally people install this and they will ask something from the user. Let's suppose if I install ransomware on some server or some device, then what they do is they threaten you with the harm, usually by denying you access to your data. For example, you cannot access your laptop without their permission, so something like this. And very important is social engineering, which is nowadays very common, right? Someone asks from you like, okay, what is your Paytm stuff? We are doing for KYC. We want something, let's say I'm calling from XYZ company and want to know a lot of information from you. And we call this a social engineering. This is like a psychological manipulation of people into performing actions, and that the hacker can take your confidential information from you. We will see that how social engineering is very dangerous to access your data. So another thing is crypto jacking, which I already covered. Like this is how hacker will place some malware and will run their scripts to mine their cryptocurrencies. Phishing, we know that how anyone can give you one link with wrong information. Like it looks like same as the same. Like generally people do this for the banking purpose, which can be handled very easily. But SIM swap scam, this is really new nowadays. They use social engineering. They block your SIM, and then they use this information of your confidential information for bank to get this to get the transaction done. So we will talk about SIM swap as well. Some case studies I want to share. I want to show this, that how nowadays these kind of attacks getting very common. So for example, in 2006, Uber hackers stole the information of over 57 million riders and drivers. In 2018, Facebook was exploited by attackers and 50 million users account compromised. Same way happened, this type of attack happened over hospitals, over even in the Twitter recently, Twitter breach happened, and this leads to almost 121K of Bitcoins to be transferred, right? So we have to understand other things as well, how federal and local government can be attacked very. Nowadays, if you see that the United States is the number one on attacks, on the cyber attacks, India is on second, 17%, Japan. This data, I think, is of 2019. And if you see the cyberspace for government bodies, these are like, there's a very, very interesting research that these kind of like, we have email addresses in government like .gov.in. And you can see that these kind of attacks, these kind of gov.in email passwords is available on dark web, and it's available for selling purpose as well. They are using this for, like, you can access this information for these emails or gov.in from dark web as well. This is interestingly, you can see here that in 2016, the cost of this data breach is like $4, but in 2017 it's like 3.62, which is like very much decrease in the cost to get this data, right? But if you see, it's nowadays it's going increasingly. Like in 2018 it was 3.86, now it's 3.92 because of laws, for example GDPR, right? Once GDPR came, and then there's a lot of issues with like how to handle the privacy of a user, right? So these kind of laws binds these companies to be more protective towards their data, right? So this is important for the government purpose as well, that how they make laws to protect the privacy of their individuals, right? But if you see, this is more for the computer science people. We have 7 layers in OSI, and which layer which can attack happens. For example, man in the middle is like when two parties are talking and someone can in between can see their data as well. So sniffing, spoofing, these kind of attacks possible at different layers. But I want to show some reports as well, how you can do something, how you can identify your things, like, for example, how to search things so that you can understand. You should read some reports that how things happens. For example, here you can see that malicious code could be used to exploit vulnerabilities in web browser add-ons, applications, and other operating system. This is what I discussed in cryptojacking, how your browser is so important, right? How to choose a browser, right? How to secure yourself is really important. If you see, India is in 5th number, highest encounter rate. So first of all, please choose your browser very carefully. It can be Tor, it can be Brave, it can be or even you can use DuckDuckGo for searching purpose as well. Because when you talk about companies like Google, but there's a they collect the data or do something with this. So it upon you that how much privacy you want. Depend on that, you can choose your browser things through which you can save yourself from cryptojacking or other things. I want to show some reports. Like, these are simple. These are 10 most important attacks, right? But these attacks change all the time. Like, if you see, adware is like 13% change from 2018 to 19, and Trojan, there are a lot of attacks possible. But if you see here, like, I want to show this, that these adware from 2018-19 is going very, very fast. So adware is nowadays very important. Trojan, ransomware, and other attacks are also possible. Sorry. So these are like so how to search is like, you should see these kind of reports to understand that these are like basic things which you can see and which you can learn. For example, TrickBot is one of the attacks in which India is also part of that. Like, it's also how detection by country, and India is only 0.19. Are we detecting these attacks, or are we talking about these attacks very commonly, so that we can understand things? So we should also read reports from Niti Aayog that what they are thinking about these kind of cyber security and other things. So they have a very good report in 2000. I think they launched in 2019, and it talk about like how many users we have and what kind of attacks possible. For example, in 1990s we have viruses, worms, and botnets, and now different attacks. So you see in the durations we have different attacks. We are not much focusing nowadays on viruses. They have malwares, or they have ransomware, or they are doing something with your browsers. So by time you have to understand that when time changes, your type of attacks also changes. But these are not like this that you cannot think of, because once you start reading something, then you come to know that what kind of attacks possible. And social engineering, phishing and social engineering, if you see this is like 57%. So this can be avoided very easily. If someone is asking for you like OTP or something, social engineering, like where are you from, what you do, and something, then you can avoid such things very easily. So 57% attack is a huge number, right? Then avoid clicking on something which is of no use. So this can be, because sometimes backdoor entries can be created by that things as well. Now I want to, we have in India, we have cybercrime.gov.in, where you can register your complaints related to cyber things. So this is a national cybercrime reporting portal, very useful. You can track your complaints. It's like very, I used this once, and this is really interesting that they give you a full support over that, how you can handle your cyber criminals complaints, right? Also, you follow something related to these Indian government Twitter handles, for example, Cyber Dost. For example, it talks about adwares, that how you can use some tools to avoid something. So use such thing. They're like they're talking about ransomware, they're talking about something. So try to use this. For example, they also update like this petrol pump dealer chain.coin is fake, or don't go for this. So try this thing out. And this is one more website I want to recommend, Certain. Certain is I hope you know about Certain, is like a Indian computer emergency response team. And if you see this website, you have a lot of vulnerabilities they're talking about. Like you can have, like these are the main possible, and you can avoid them very easily. So also I want to talk about amibreeze.com. So for example, you want to know, for example, if I have a query, let me check. So these websites tell you that what about your security? For example, I want to check whether I'm my information is leaked somewhere or not. For example, this is my email, so I want to check this out. Okay, so this thing telling me that, oh no, your email account is potentially at risk. We found 6+ record mentioned on dark web. So my this information of this email is available on dark web to sell out. So that means that my email ID is vulnerable. What should I do? I should change my password, and same way we can do for other activities as well. Like if I have a website, I should check my domain, phone number. If I put my phone number here, and then I can check that is it available on dark web to sell or not. So this is really interesting to know that how these things work, right? Also, I want to suggest that you should read this personal data protection bill. This is a bill from Indian government to protect the data of Indian people. And I think recently they have 21 amendments in the bill, and you should read that what our government is thinking about to save our privacy things. This is a very interesting paper. Again, that's the topic of this talk is DIY, do it yourself. So if you want to save yourself, you have to read, you have to do something to protect yourself. In North India, we have a famous, when we travel in bus, it's like, Savari Saman ki khud zimmedar hai. So in the cyber world, it's same. Like you are only responsible of your data. If you're asking someone else that, okay, protect me from someone else, it cannot be done. You have to protect yourself, right? You are only individual who can save from these kind of things. So read more. Like for example, SIM swap attack. This happens in every country. It's not like this. If you see this data is for US, like anyone can like this is more common in the previous years, but now getting reduced. But again, in India, it's a lot of attacks happen with these kind of things. Again, we have a lot of attacks on our Indian government websites, even colleges. There are a lot of attacks. So be aware that if we can save our educational websites, if we can save our college websites by knowing some vulnerabilities which can be done very easily, which can be handled, but at least we should know that how what are the main attacks nowadays which can be avoidable very easily. So this is also Cyber Swasthya Kendra. We should have something in our institutes as well. Like for example, we have Swasthya things and a lot of things, but Cyber Swasthya Kendra says that, okay, we should have something related to cyber things which can be. So if you see free bot removal tools, they have a lot of things which is freely available. You should look into these things, that how we can save our educational institutes from these kind of attacks. This is again a report I want to share. So there are a lot of reports, which you can read out, and so that you can understand how things works and how it can be. I want to show that how India is getting victim of this cryptojacking nowadays. So in this report, you can see that, let me show you that Indian data as well. So you see in 2018, India is like 8% for this attack. In 2019, we are getting hit more which is 20.8. So there's like little bit introduction to a lot of things, that how you can avoid to be getting hacked. So yeah, if you have any questions, because I want to preferably answer more questions. So if you have any question, let me know. Sahil sir, do we have any questions? Okay. Sheetal ma'am, I can't hear you. Okay,